Hello, Grace family. We pray this finds everyone in good health and happily living at home. We wanted to let you know that we are planning on opening up our worship service for the first time on May 31st, so just a week away, and we're really very excited about that. For your physical safety and those around us, we're trying to implement some precautions that will minimize the opportunity to spread disease to one another. And we'd like to make those available to you today so that you can understand what to expect if you decide to come on the 31st. First off, our church facilities. We've rearranged our church facilities to provide distancing between each other so that you can maintain proper social distancing, which is considered to be 6 feet. If you come as a family unit, we would encourage you to sit together as a family to allow for more space for others to attend and to spread out as well. We are sanitizing the entire church between activities. So chairs, tables, all the facilities will be sanitized for your protection and for the protection of others. A few things you need to be aware of. We do ask you to participate in the recommendations for personal protective equipment. That would include having a face mask. So if you don't have a face mask, please try to acquire one before coming on the 31st. It can be a simple cloth covering, such as this, or a more in-depth face mask, whatever you choose. We want to make sure that you understand that these face masks are intended primarily for the protection of others. When we speak, as we do now without covering, our breath and vapors can travel quite a distance. That's part of our 6 feet piece. With the face mask, it keeps that closer to you and minimizes the chances of transmitting anything from you to someone else. So the use of the face mask is really about the protection of others more so than of yourself. So we're wearing these masks out of consideration for others within our congregation that might be very vulnerable. As for personal distancing, we want to maintain that 6-foot personal distance as recommended by the CDC and our governing officials. We know this will be difficult for us and a practice that we'll have to work to try to comply with. We want to make sure everyone's aware and keeps that top of mind as we gather and congregate and support one another. Refreshments. For the foreseeable future, we're not going to be providing refreshments of any kind. So there won't be coffee, donuts, water, those sorts of things. So please plan accordingly. And if you would like to bring coffee and snacks with you, you're more than welcome to do that, but don't plan on having those here. For children, for the protection of the children, your family, our teachers, and others around us, we can't really offer nursery or Sunday school service at this time. So children will need to stay with you at your place. They'll also need to keep the same personal protective equipment as you do. And this can be very difficult, and we understand that. We love our children, we want to hug on them, we want to make them feel loved and welcome, but this is a time that we have to be very, very careful about that. So keep that top of mind if you're bringing your children in. As far as attending our church, the only door we're going to be using is the front door. This is so we can limit our traffic in and out of the building. The front door will open at 9:45 a.m. for a 10 o'clock service. So as you enter the building, we're going to ask that you go and find your seats and minimize the amount of congregating and gathering that might cause us to violate our social distancing. When you arrive at church, we will have someone at the door to take your temperature. If for some reason you don't feel well, let's say you have a dry cough, you have a fever, aches and pains, shortness of breath, things like that, we would really ask you to worship at home. If you do come and we detect a fever of 100.4, which is a standard, or above, we're going to ask you to worship at home. So keep that in mind as you're planning to come. So you'll come in, get your temperature taken, and proceed to your seat. During service, if you choose to wear your mask or not, that is totally up to you. We ask you that you make a decision based on your own personal health. When we're singing praises, we're going to encourage people to wear their masks, again, to minimize the transmission of vapors and potentially some disease particles to move around in our congregation. If you cannot attend, you can attend via our remote services, which we will continue to do. We'll be taping each service and putting those up on YouTube and through Facebook. After service is over, we're going to ask you to depart readily. Be sure to not hang around. We'll be clearing out the area so that our volunteers, which are very much needed if you feel the calling, so our volunteers can sanitize the area and get it ready for the next activity that might be taking place. Those are the changes that we're making for our first service on May 31st. We really look forward to seeing you here and look forward to catching up. But please keep in mind these restrictions and these practices we're putting in place to assure the health of everyone here. God bless you, and we look forward to seeing you on May 31st.